Hi. What if I told you that you could reset your body, boost mental clarity, and even heal inflammation by doing nothing but drinking water for 10 days? It sounds crazy, right? In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most extreme but powerful self-healing practices, the 10-day water fast. You're welcome to Profit Magix with Babatunde, where transformation feels effortless and magical. What is the 10-day water fast actually? Yeah, it's a period whereby, as the name implies, you fast for 10 days, but on water alone. No food, you're not breaking, you're not as people are used to fasting. You start your fast at a certain time and then you break maybe towards the end of the day. No, you're not. There's no breaking, right? For 10 straight days, all you're taking is water. 10 full days. Yeah, it sounds extreme, I know. You're going to get no calories and you're going to take no supplements. I know you think it's starvation, but it's not. It's therapeutic autophagy. What it does mostly is that it triggers cell recycling, inflammation reduction, and an insulin reset. Now, most of the benefits that are recorded, that you will go through, most of the benefits that you will experience during the 10-day water fast are backed by science. Now, autophagy is backed by science. You can Google it. It's a period where it's a process whereby your body cleans up damaged cells. Fat loss is one of the benefits of, the 10-day water fast. If you've been thinking about how to lose, body fat, one of the easiest ways of losing fat very fast is through the 10-day water fast. I know I've done it. I've done it twice in my life. The first time I did it for 10 days, the second time I did it for 11 days. I was trying to push further. I was trying to do it for more than, I was trying to go for 21 days, but I stopped at 11 days, but I've done it twice, and both times I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight. So if you're trying to lose weight, it might be one of the things you want to consider. Another benefit backed by science is mental clarity. Your body does something. It produces ketones in that period. So during that period, when that is happening, you have some, all the fogginess in your mind, everything starts to become clearer. You understand? In my own first experience, the first 10-day water fast that I did, by day 4, 5, my mind became so clear that I remembered things as far back as when I was a baby. I kid you not. I know it sounds weird, it sounds funny, but this is exactly what happened. I can still remember that baby language to date, and that my very first water fast is more than a decade ago, more than 10 years ago. But the baby language that came to fore from some repressed memory, still right there in front of my mind right now. I can still remember that language as a baby. I remember I used to say these things, and I can say them now, but I will say that I'll save you. I'll save you I'll save you that. I won't tell you the baby language, but I do remember, I did remember baby language, and I still do remember baby rap. I just had an immense level of mental clarity, and it wasn't just the language thing. I just remembered certain things I wanted to do. My life plan, my life focus became clearer. I had some level of, you could even call it some spiritual awakening during that period. I felt some level of closeness to an external being. Call it God if you like. So it was a very, very special moment for me. Yeah, you know. And definitely there was another benefit. One of the benefits is also inflammation reduction. Now, I was suffering from on an untold number of inflammations all over my body because I can't say that I've always lived a healthy life. You know, I mean, I wasn't living a healthy life for a very long time. You know, I did, you know, maybe things that normal youths do and all of that, you know, and then some. You know, I was drinking, I was smoking a lot of cigarettes, you know, I even tried, cannabis a few times, that kind of that sort of thing, So I was just loading my body with a lot of, toxins. I know some people will argue that cannabis is not, it's not bad for the body and all whatnot, but that's beyond the scope of this particular episode, and it's not something that I am qualified or certified to talk about. Even I'm not certified or qualified to talk about water fasting or whatever it is because I'm not a health practitioner. But it's something I've done. It's something that you know I have experienced the benefits. So I feel like it's something I can talk about. But before you try anything, of course, always consult with your health practitioner because I am not one. But I'm just telling you things that I did from my own experience and some of the research too about what other people have done and that worked for them, And definitely the 10-day water fast is something you want to, if you've been struggling with your health and you do not have, an endless supply of, medicals or medical insurance, or maybe you do not have the means to some any level of insurance, medical insurance and all of that, and you just don't know what to do, you don't know where to turn to. It's something you might want to research, or of course you might want to research it, and then the decisions that you make going forward, you'll be better informed, so something that I think that you should look into. So I had, like I said, an untold number of inflammation, but there's one particular one that I'll talk about. And there was this ring on my head. This, it was a dark ring. I don't know what caused it. I don't know how it came about. I don't. I was going through a lot in my life. Different things were happening to me that I couldn't explain, and I didn't have the means to go to see the doctor because I was in and out of jobs because my health would not allow me to focus on my career and relationships and so many other things. So I was in a very dark place. So I couldn't even go see. I couldn't afford to go see any doctor. So I could only do research on my own and then experiment on the things that I researched on. And one of the things that I stumbled upon was a 10-day water fast, and I tried it because I felt like there was nothing else I could do at that point. So when I tried it, like I said, I had an inflammation on my head that had turned to a dark patch, like almost the whole of my scalp was black up onto here, like this. It was black. I had hair, but it was showing from under my hair. And anybody that came across me during that period was just like, what's that thing on your head? I had no answers to give them because I didn't know what it was. And I couldn't go to the hospital to go check because I didn't have the means. I didn't have the money to go. So I jumped into the 10-day water fast, and I kid you not, by the end of this fast, the inflammation was totally gone, and it's still gone today. There's no dark patch on my head, and instead it's been replaced by mental clarity, if I will put it that way. My digestion definitely improved. It's one of the benefits. I think there's some sort of gut repair that happens because when your body stops digesting food, it starts to digest what's been damaging it. It starts to eat up inflammations and eat up other things, So when your body, when during that period when you're fasting, your body has nothing else to feed on. It has nothing else to feed on. So it starts feeding on the impurities in your body. And then you just find out that different things start disappearing. different things start disappearing. I had different types of pain, maybe from, different types of pains, sharp pangs here and there, maybe from the nicotine I was taking, maybe I don't know. I don't know where all these things came from, but my body, I knew my body wasn't working optimally, But after the fast, the very first time, you know, I can't remember how I referred. I know I jumped into eating pretty fast, because I started craving on the 10th day. I think just after, the hour completed, I think I just went and grabbed, a bunch of foods and I started eating, and then it took me a while, a few days before I could go to the toilet again. But the second time that I did the 10-day water fast, on day when I started refeeding after the 11 days, but before I even started refeeding, I noticed that I couldn't go to the toilet. Then I started refeeding. Then I noticed that, and my refeeding wasn't like I didn't jump. This time around, I started refeeding the proper way, right? I started with, broths, then, light vegetables and all of that, some fruits, and, for some days before I had anything solid, But I noticed that I had the need, I felt the need to go to the toilet. But guess what? I could not go. Even before I started refeeding, I felt the need to go to the toilet. I felt like there was something in there that wanted to come out. Even though I hadn't been eating for 11 days, I felt like there was something that needed to come out. But I couldn't go because what was coming out was too big for the outlet. I don't know how else to put it. I was constipated. And I asked, I started, researching, how can I be constipated from drinking water? What I found out is that after the fast, now, let me point out, during the fast, while you're doing the fast, you are not going to be gulping water. You can do some more research on it. You're not going to be gulping water. You're supposed to be sipping water, maybe take like 1.5 liters of water every day on a daily basis. Slowly, sipping it slowly. So you're not gulping water, to try to quench your hunger. By day three anyway, your hunger will have subsided. Day one might be difficult for you. Day two, you feel hunger pangs and all of that. By day three, the hunger starts to go away. By day four, you're totally not even hungry anymore. By day five, to day six, your strength is already, you're starting to feel like this is a normal part of you. You can start doing things and all of that. You're not walking like you're weak or anything like that. You're not feeling as weak as you did on your first 3-4 days, that kind of thing. By day 5, day 6, some strength and vitality is already returning into your body, although you still have to get up slowly, because if you get up fast from wherever you're sitting, you might feel faint and all of that, or if you get up too suddenly, you might actually pass out, because you don't have any kind of, you've lost a lot of nutrients and all of that, so you need to get up slowly and do things. Don't rush to do things and all of that, because you're still going through a fast. So basically your digestion improves, and then is one of the benefits that I also experience during the fast. Now, there are some risks to fasting, though. There are some people that should not fast, especially water fasting. I think pregnant women shouldn't do that. I think people with health conditions, like diabetes, or if you're on medication or you're underweight, I don't think you should do that without any kind of supervision. You should always consult a health professional. Your electrolytes there might be an electrolyte imbalance. You might feel dehydrated, you might feel fatigued, and you might feel some sort of dizziness and all of that. So there are risks involved in water fasting. So there are some people that should not participate or engage in water fasting without your healthcare practitioner. So like I said, let me give you a timeline of what to expect during this fast. Like I said, day 1 to 2, you feel some hunger, you feel some fatigue. Day 3, something called ketosis happens, and you might feel headaches and detox symptoms. And by day 6, like I said before, your energy returns, your hunger fades, and then your mind starts to sharpen. Now, how do you prepare and refeed safely? You know, Basically, you should be mindful of what you're putting into your body. You should reduce carbs, you should reduce sugar, caffeine a few days before the fast. Before now, the very first time I did the 10-day water fast, I didn't take so much precaution. I just did fruit for like 2 days. I did fruits alone for like 2 days, and then I went into the water fasting. So it was like some sort of preparation. My body was preparing for it. The second time, though, this is what I did. I wasn't planning on a 10-day water fast. I had been thinking I should do a 10-day water fast, but I wasn't planning on it. I was just going, but my body was already telling me that I needed some changes because I'd been doing a lot of things, consuming nicotine, consuming alcohol, and all of that. So my body felt like there needs to be some sort of change. So my friends one morning, you know, called me, and they said they wanted to go to some local place where some local woman would give us some hot drink that would detoxify. It's a common thing in Nigeria. And you just go to some local woman, she prepares some local herbs. I never know what's in these things. I still don't know what's in it, but lots of people are taking it, so I thought it must be good. So you sit down, they prepare the hot tea for you, you drink, and then you start going to the toilet. Maybe not immediately, maybe overnight or in the morning you go to the toilet. So when I took that in the morning, I started going to the toilet. So at that point I was like, okay, you know what, why don't I do this water fast as this detoxification has started? So I felt some level of relief going to the toilet, and then I started immediately. I just went to get some spring water, stock my house with spring water, and then I started. So for 10 days, 11 days this time around, I was just sipping water, sipping water, sipping water. And on the 11th day, I stopped the fast. I started with the broth. I started refeeding with the broth, and then I moved on to light vegetables, fruits, and then light vegetables before I started doing anything, solid. You see, fasting is free, and I have benefited a lot. Each time that I've done the 10-day water fast, I've always had mental clarity. I've always had a renewed sense of purpose for my life, if nothing at all. That is a huge benefit, because at a point, that period allows you to pause and reflect, automatically, because you're not going anywhere. You're not going to be doing any extra work. It's a period of, rest, and, a period for you to re-strategize, you understand? And if you sit down for 10 days in a year to re-strategize, I feel like you have a clearer sense of purpose going forward. So that is always a benefit for me. Of course, I always lose a lot of fat, you understand? And of course, inflammations disappear. I don't know how to explain it. Now the pain is there. Now it's no longer there. I don't have any medical explanation for that. I just know this is what happens. And people that have talked about it also say that it's because your body just starts eating up those inflammations, because it doesn't have any other thing to eat. There's no protein, there's no fat and oil, there's nothing for it to eat. So it starts eating up the impurities in your body. So it's free, and it's wonderful. And it's an ancient practice that lots of people in old times, did. But it's not a shortcut, though. If it is done right, it can transform how you relate to food. It can transform how you relate to your body and your health. And if you're thinking about trying it, maybe you should start small. Maybe a 24-hour, fast. might be a good point to start. Just remember that healing just doesn't come from adding more, just adding more and more. Sometimes it comes from doing less, like eating less or not eating at all. A 10-day water fast is something you need to consider, especially if you fall into the category that I explained. Maybe do not have so much means of you know going to see a healthcare practitioner, or trying expensive medications and stuff like that. This is natural. You're not adding anything. You're just stopping. It's not about doing more, adding. Take this, take vitamin this, take this health product. This is about just taking nothing. Just pausing, drinking water, just water. Give your body water consistently for a number of days. Rest your mind, rest your body. Who says you can't be transformed from that? I've been transformed twice in my lifetime, and I'm looking forward to the next 10-day water fast that I'm going to take. And I'm even looking to pushing it beyond that, because people have reported different types of ailments leaving their bodies when they pushed beyond even 10 days, of course with supervision. If you're going to do even a 10-day water fast, you should do it with supervision, because anything can happen. We need to check your vitals and all of that. Like I said initially, your electrolyte levels and all of that. So you need those things need to be checked out, so you don't enter into some sort of medical emergency that nobody knows about it. And I don't want to be a party to you losing your life or being in danger of something bad happening to you. So be careful before you go into any kind of anything at all to do with your health. But like I said, it's definitely something that should start your mind going like, okay, you know what, I'm going to research into this. And that's the episode for today. And if you feel like this said something to you, drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.